So here is part 4 of my plant tour haul-ish thing. Um, so this is like the only true west-facing window. It's like on a little outer bank, so it's not like northwest, it's like full-on west. And this is primarily where I put my succulents so that they get the most afternoon daytime light. So I'll just go right into it. My first one, I don't know what it's called. It's an Echeveria. I clearly got it around Easter, and this little sucker is dry as a bone. I don't water it ever. And honestly, it's like the most compact and hole shaped succulent that I have. It really just likes neglect, and I love that it loves neglect. It doesn't really get the most light out of all of them, and it doesn't get nearly as much water as the rest, but he's holding true. I guess I have something to learn from this little guy. Here is another succulent of mine. I really liked it because it was like the first pudgy succulent that I've ever purchased. You can notice that a lot of its leaves show finger marks really well. So I tried to touch this guy as little as possible, and you can see that I turned him so that he was really going towards that window, but now I'm trying to get him to balance out a little more, and it looks like he's kind of getting etiolated because of it. I don't know if it's the changing of the seasons or the fact that I turned him, but I don't know. I'm going to commit to it. Hope that he pulls through and starts to flesh out a little more. I try to water this guy as little as I can. So I'd say like once every week and a half, 2 weeks. Just because he is on like the plumper side, he holds a lot more water in him. And the fact that he has that kind of like light dusting on a lot of his leaves shows me that he can take a lot more heat and is designed for a hotter climate, so I try to just kind of let him do his thing because it's not so hot where I am and he's not getting a lot of light over here. I got this guy, I believe it's they call it Echeveria Blue. I'm pretty sure it's like a moonstone Echeveria, and I got him because he had a little stump behind him, and he had 2 little buds coming off, and one of them I'll show you in a couple of minutes. I propagated in another little pot, and one was growing and got super stretched out. This dude was doing really well for a while here. I don't know, something about maybe the direction of the sun or where I have him in the window, he just kind of stretched out a little more than I like him to. Debating whether or not to chop off the head of him and just like put him back here and see what happens. See if he like starts to get a more compact shape. Maybe it's the season, I don't know. If anything, I should probably put a stick in here so that he stands up a little more straight. But yeah, I also try not to water him too much because he is on the fleshier side, and he does have that white dusting. As you can see, there are like little fingerprints and whatnot. And this dude is on the more expensive side. I did get him at a personal greenhouse, so it was like $7.50. Yeah, he's cute. I also have this Echeveria who was doing really well as well, but I want to say around August he really started to stretch out and get leggy for me. I'm not exactly sure what to do with him. If I should chop him off or if I should kind of just let him do his thing. We'll see. I mean, if anything, I'm trying to turn him to keep him more balanced because he is kind of favoring one side, but I also try not to water him too much because he is on the fleshier side. I'm pretty sure I got that one at either Home. I think it was Home Depot. This, I believe, is a sedum. I've kind of read up on them, and I heard that Once they flower, they drop some seeds, and then that the mother plant dies. So I'm kind of keeping my eye out for that. I have this hanging into a neighboring planter just in case it drops seeds while I'm unaware. It looks like he's kind of losing some foliage underneath. I should really take some of these dead leaves underneath out. It's just really hard with the angle of this planter. Not really a planter, but container. Um, and I actually kind of like how I potted this guy a lot out of most of my succulents because he was in a compact, like little root, small container, and I did pat dirt and whatnot underneath and around him clearly. But he still kind of stuck out from the rest of the soil so that when I did water him, it would just kind of go right up into his roots. And I think he really favored that. He gets pretty solid and consistent direct light, but nothing too crazy. That's my dog. Hey Belle. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm kind of worried for like the fall and winter because I do hear that they die off. So yeah. Then my brother got me this plant also for my birthday. I can't bring myself to turn it around in the window because it just looks so good. It really favors one side, and I've kind of let it do its thing. I water this as well as like the rest of the succulents in this window. I want to say like a week and a half. Every week and a half. And I do see that when I do overwater this, a lot of its leaves do kind of, I think I took this off of this today actually. They do kind of like shrivel up and die. They get real finicky about overwatering, since they are more of a supple succulent. And since it is like more of the purple color, it has like a dusty film on it as well, so I can tell that it can take a lot more heat and is a lot more drought tolerant, so I try to just let this dude go. I'm not really sure about what I should do potting wise, considering his roots have kind of overtaken a lot of the cork at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but he's been doing all right. I haven't had any problems. He hasn't stretched out like the rest of them in this window yet, so fingers crossed he kind of holds true on that. The oldest succulent that's in that window is my topsy-turvy, and I got this in Valentine's Day, and I know I should probably chop him off, but I can't get myself to do it. If anything, I've been kind of turning him around, so I'm in hopes gonna try and get him to do a circle, if I can get him to do that. He really loves where he is in the window. I did have him in my room initially, and he did get really stretched out and start to look really funky, and that's where he lost a lot of those leaves, but I don't know. I really like this guy. He has a lot of character. This is also Walmart. I did get him at Walmart as well, actually. But he's been doing really well in this window. He's been loving the light. He's got a lot of texture and fun to him, so I'm not gonna cut that off. I really love his look. This is like my twofer. So these are like a kind of a potluck. Oh gosh, I guess I'll do this one first. This is kind of like a planter of assorted succulents that I have. This guy kind of looked giraffe-y to me. He had that kind of texture about his leaves. I mean, all his leaves fell off and he has stretched immensely and clearly is rooting for something. So I'm probably going to end up chopping this guy off and then probably in half and try and plant him in here and see how he does. I think this is like a jelly bean succulent, and he's been doing really well the closer he gets to the window. I also have, I believe these are like bear paws or wannabe bear paws, and I actually have propagations of them doing really well in a container on their own. I wasn't so sure about the lighting situation for these at first. I did have them up in my bathroom window, but it turned out that they weren't getting enough light. I don't know if they are here either. If anything, they're favoring this window a lot more than the other, and they've definitely grown larger leaves and whatnot. They're a lot greener, healthier, sturdier, hardier. Um, Overall, I mean, I also have like a little plant coming up here, but I don't know. I'm learning with this dude. I really like him, but I also kind of hate him because I don't know what to do with him. We'll see how that goes. Um, and then this dude is just kind of a hot mess, to be completely honest. These guys were some of my first batch of succulents, and I put them in here, and they just really stretched towards that sunlight. I mean, once they got... Oh, there goes a leaf. Once they got closer to the window, they really just started to become a little more compact and really loving the sun that they were getting. But I think I might have to chop these guys off. I mean, look at some of those roots that I've got going on here. They, yeah, they're just itching for some support. So I think I might have to upkeep that. I also, if you watched one of the earlier parts, this is that variegated crassula that I just kind of stuck in here, and he's doing pretty well by himself. So it's nice. Like, I don't really like to mix a lot of my succulents, but I think the diversity in this specific planter is really interesting. This is basically my potluck of propagations and whatnot in this window. I have one of my original echeverias. I've got a couple of like Sam's leaves. I've got some Gollum's Jade leaves that I don't think are really taking. I've got a new moon, blue moon or something like that. The blue one in the teacup. I've cut off one of its babies and put it in this, and I literally thought it died for the longest time, but it's actually showing new growth just in time for September and fall. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, this is also kind of like a potluck of propagations and whatnot, so we'll see how much they hold true in the coming months with winter and whatnot. And my last 3 succulents in this are living stones. Living stones. I don't know what to do with these. You can tell this one has a bubble from when I overwatered. He wasn't too happy with that. I literally thought I killed it. I did have 3, and I tried repotting, but I broke the 3rd one in half when I repotted it. So I hear for these guys, you just kind of leave them alone in a windowsill. They're fine. They hold a lot of water, and if anything, you can easily overwater these guys to death. I've almost done it here. This guy is the only one that's really showing new growth. So we'll see. I just kind of leave him there and forget about him. And the last one that's kind of like in that group that I don't really do anything with is my split stone. I try to water this guy as little as possible. I hear some people just water once, maybe twice a year with these and the living stones. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I haven't watered this guy. I think I watered him maybe once when I got him mid-summer, maybe May, June. And he's alive. So if that's proving anything, it proves the point that underwatering these guys is probably the safest bet. Who knew? Stones lived.